So chapter 35, one vav and one yod verbs. Here we'll work on the parsing. So are there any particular ones you want to look at together? Questions you have? Number 5, we have hava. Hava. So what verb is this? Yahav. So we have yod, hey, bet. Okay. Now, if I've got a verb with a yod in root 1 position, then it's either a one vav verb or it's an originally one yod verb, right? If it's a one vav verb in the cal imperative and infinitive construct, what will happen to my root 1? Yeah, it'll undergo aphoresis and it falls into Sheol, and I only see roots 2 and 3, which is what I've got here. So I know that this must be a cal imperative or infinitive. If it's an infinitive, then what do I get after root 3? When I get aphoresis, I lose root 1, but like manna from heaven, what drops in? An extra tav, right? The bonus tav. I don't have that here, so this must be the imperative. Which imperative form gets the kamate? Yeah, this is the alternate 2ms. Okay, so remember the normal 2ms is what ending? The 0 ending, no ending. But sometimes you can get a kamate. Now, it's so easy to see a kamate and go, oh, that's a female, right? But in the imperatives, kamate has nothing to do with femininity at all. In fact, it's very unfeminine. Not very ladylike to add a kamate to the end of your verb. So that's a 2ms form. So it could be translated as give, but in association with another verb like nismaha, together it's come on, let's, or let's do something. Okay. So what's nismaha? What's my verbal root here? Samach. What does samach mean? To what? To be glad or to rejoice. Look what I've got. I've got a noon prefix and a kamate on the back side. What is that? A telltale sign of? Cohortative. First common plural. Which stem has kirik under the nutty prefix and silent shiva under root 1? That's the good old cal. Nifkada. Nifkada, right? So, I already know the cal meaning because that's what we learned for this verb, right? To rejoice. So come on, let's rejoice. Okay? Hava nismacha. And as we mentioned, nagila is another way to say let's be glad, let's rejoice. Okay, good. So does that help? We good? All right, what else? Other questions? So let's look at number 2 here. I have al tira. Say that with me. Al tira. Okay. What is the all doing here? Okay, so this is a negator, and it only negates volitional or volative verbs, right? Now, that's good to remember, isn't it? So whatever this is, it's not an imperfect, is it? It must be adjussive of some sort. And if it's adjussive, then that tav must be a prefix tav, right? So it's good that you know this. I don't have volitional verbs that are in the perfect. They're always prefix forms, aren't they? Cohortatives, adjussives. So this tav is no ending on the back. So this is adjussive what? What are my 2 possibilities here? If I have a tav with nothing, it's 3 fs or 2 ms, right? Okay. Now, this yod is part of kirik yod. So how many consonants do I actually see inside the core? I only see 2. So right now, if I'm missing 1, which root letter is it? It's usually root 1. which means I'm likely looking at root 2 and 3. And so when root 1 is missing, what are my two possibilities now? It could be noon or yod, where the yod is either a real yod, an original yod, or original vav, right? So my root letters are either nara or yara. Which one of those is a verb you've learned? Yara. Okay. If it were nara, what would have happened here? The noon would have assimilated, become a doubling dot. Doubling dot would have been kicked out, and I'd get, instead of a kirik, a sere here. Okay. What I have here is a kirik yod. So tell me, is this characteristic of an original one yod or an original one vav verb to have a kirik yod here with my prefix? What happens here? This is what one yod verbs do. One yod verbs get kirik yod for the prefix in the imperfect. One vav verbs get a sere. A sere. Usually I get a double sere. Okay? So just as a reminder, yashav becomes yay, shave. This is a one vav verb. The yod is the nutty prefix yod. So I'm only seeing roots 2 and 3. Root 1 is gone. It's missing. Can't see it. And my vowel pattern is sere under the nutty prefix and sere under root 2. For this one, it would be ye ra for yara. I see root 2 and 3 here, and the root 1 is also missing, and the nutty prefix gets a kirik yod under it. Okay, so this is what one vavs do in the cow. This is what one yods do in the cow. All right, so this is an original one yod. So what does this verb mean? Yara or yare? To be afraid. And this is in the cal, right? So how am I going to translate this? If it's 3FS, it's adjussive. So may she not be afraid. If it's a 2MS, it could be may you not be afraid. Or remember, I can use these just to do a direct prohibition. Don't be afraid, or do not be afraid. Do not fear. Okay? When I have all plus the second person jussive as a prohibition, what kind of prohibition is that? A generic or a specific prohibition? It's a specific one. Hey, you, I know there's a bunch of, hooligans outside, but don't be afraid. Right? You know karate. As opposed to, son, when you go into the big bad world as a grown-up, don't be afraid. Don't be marked by fear. Okay, great. So let's look at number 1 real quickly, just for fun. I have tse. So can you say what that is? How many root letters do I see? Just 2. So very likely it is roots 2 and 3, and root 1 has undergone aphoresis and is missing, right? So what are my two possibilities here? The roots are yod sadi aleph or noon sadi aleph. Which one of those is a verb you've learned? Yod sadi aleph, yatsa, which means to go out, to depart, Now, if root 1 has undergone aphoresis and fallen into Sheol, is this a original one vav or original one yod verb? Here's my one vav pattern, my one yod pattern, okay? One vavs are what usually sink into Sheol, okay? So this is a one vav verb. That means in the cal imperfect, it would be ye say, he will go out, okay? Where this yod is the prefix yod. She will go out, te say. I will go out, a say. Okay? I was just mentioning how I tried to call that gal in college to ask her out. And, the The end of the story was lo etze. I will not go out. Yes. So anyhow, so here it's just say. So what form is this? This only happens in the cal imperative or infinitive construct, right? So which one is this? It's the cal imperative. Good. And with no ending, it's 2ms. All right. So this is go out. She did not call me back and say go out with me, for sure. Now, if you want to take a look at your paradigms, go to the one yod, one vav section. Let's just take a look at what we've got here. I just want you to see for the verb yashav, which is an original one vav, in the perfect, that root one yod is there, and perfectly happy because it is a consonant yod, right? But in the cal imperfect, I have yeshav, teshav, teshav, teshavi, ashav. Every nutty prefix gets a sere and nothing else, and then I go straight to root 2, all right? The WCI, vayeshev, I could have the stress move forward. So instead of being vayeshev, I will frequently see vayeshev. The Jasev, I don't see the stress always retracting. Yeshev, cohortative esheva, let me dwell. And here's your imperatives. Shave, alternate sheva, shavi, shavu, shavna. But do you see the vowel pattern? Roots 2 and 3 with the sere under root 1 matches the vowel pattern of tse, which is yatsa, yashav, yatsa, shave, tse. Okay, so once you've parsed your form, go back and look at your weak verb paradigms and say, okay, do I see something similar with the paradigm verb I've been given? And that'll help you just to confirm what you're looking at, okay? So let's look at number 7 here. Everybody, 7, hodia. Sounds like we're saying, oh dear. Oh dear. All right. So I have a consonant hey with a holem vav, dalet with a kirik yod, and ayin. So the only 3 consonants I really have are hey, dalet, ayin. Are those my 3 root letters? No. No. I mean, conceivably they could be, right? Conceivably. But I've got a kirik yod between 2 and 3, and what does that make you think of? Hifil. And if I have something that looks hifilish and a hey on the front end, chances are that's a hifil hey, so it wouldn't be root 1, would it? So I'd want to say, hey, maybe I'm only seeing roots 2 and 3. Do Hebrew verbs sometimes only show roots 2 and 3? Yes, as we've learned, right? I've got a holem vav right after the hey. So what might be my missing root 1 letter here? Yeah, this could be yada, where the yod is originally a 1 vav verb, right? So yada, hifil. Okay, that's good. How many places does the hifil show the hifil hey? 4. Hifil perfect, imperative, and both infinitives, construct and absolute. Now, here's the thing about 1 vav verbs. It's ho, 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 ho all the way through. So I used to be able to tell the difference between the hifil perfect and the other hifils by the I vowel with the hey compared to the A vowels. But in 1 vavs, I get holem vav all the time, so I can't use that. So I have to go to the kirik yod. Where do I see a kirik yod in my hifil forms that have the hey? The hifil perfect will have it, and the infinitive construct will have it. The imperative will have a sere here when there's no inflection. You remember that? And there's no inflection here, so we have to jettison the imperative, and the infinitive absolute gets a sere, and this has a kirik yod. So these are my only 2 possibilities. And as it turns out, it could actually be either one. All right? If it's a hifil perfect with the 0 ending, it's 3ms. If it's a hifil infinitive construct with no ending, there's no pronominal suffix, then that's it. I'm done parsing it, right? So how would I translate this verb? Yada in the cal means to know, so in the hifil it would mean something like to make someone know, to inform them of something, right? So let's use inform. So he, what? Informed. If it's the HIFL infinitive construct, the act of informing. Or you could say to inform. That's one way to translate an infinitive. Not the only way, though. All right? So does that make sense? Okay, good. Now, while we're thinking about 7, let's just look at 8. I have who redo. Who redo. Now, see, I've got a hey prefix, and I only have 2 consonants after it. And if that's roots 2 and 3, that means that root 1 is missing here, right? It could be showing up, though, in the form of this shurik, which would tell me it's a 1-yod verb that was originally 1 vav. Do I have a verb like yarad? Have I seen that? What does yarad mean? In the cal, it means to go down. I have a hey prefix. That could be hifil or hofal, right? When I have a shurik, what vowel class is that? That's U class. So which one of these is it more likely, hifil or hofal? It's a hofal. Good. Now, hofal with the shurik at the end. In the hofal, the hey prefix shows up in all the same places that it would show up in the hifil because it's the counterpart. Perfect, imperative, infinitive, construct, absolute. The shurik on the back side tells me it can't be any infinitive, right? Is there an imperative for the hofal? No. So there's really only one possibility here. It's the hofal perfect. And if it's the perfect, the shurik is 3CP. Now, in the hifil, okay, go back to cal. Cal is to go down. Hifil would mean to what? To cause to go down, which could mean to bring down or take down. And so the hofal makes that passive. So they what? Were taken down. They were taken down. They were brought down. All right, so that's the way you translate that. Okay, any other questions here about your forms? Number 10, we have lo to hal, and then li shown. All right, so lo to hal, li shown. Lo negates. To call, what is that? What verb might that be related to? We had a special note in the lesson on this. This is the verb yahol, which means to be able. Is that yoda? Is that a 1 vav or a 1 yod verb? It's a 1 vav verb. We know this because in the imperfect, I get a shurik right after my prefix consonant. Okay? So this is unusual because I don't usually see that. For my 1 vav verbs, I usually get this thing over here. Yay, shave. Right? I get a sere pattern. But here, it's going to give me a shurik in the cal imperfect. So this is yakol in the cal imperfect. With a prefix tav, it could be 2 things, 3 fs or 2 ms, right? So how would I translate that? If it's 3 fs, she will not be able. If it's 2 ms, you will not be able. And then I have li shown. Now, what kind of words usually come after the verb that means to be able? Infinitives, very frequently infinitives, which will also have a lamed with it, right? So this is the lamed preposition plus the infinitive construct. And look at what I have, li shown. This kirik yod is the result of le, y, shown. So what's happened here? I've got 2 vocal shavas. I'm going to shoot out 1 eye. This vocal shava becomes silent. And when a kirik comes before a yod with a silent shava, what's it sound like? Li. Not li, but li. Well, what does that sound like? Sounds like just a plain old kirik yod. And this is the Hebrew love story where the kirik and the yod see each other and reunite and become a mater, right? So li shown. So that's what's happened here. So she will not be able to Sleep. You just have to know what yashan means, to sleep. Or you will not be able to sleep. Well,
If it's talking about being able, you wouldn't say you shall not be able, like the command. With the low to
oh, right. Yeah, exactly. So a low plus a second person imperfect could be a prohibition. In which case it would be, thou shalt not be able to sleep. But that wouldn't really make sense, would it? So, yeah. This is just predictive. It's a prophecy, and what a horrible one it is. All right? Who wants to not be able to sleep? Okay. Let me just have you look at number 3 real quickly. I have buridtenu. Yeah, you can say that. Buridtenu. So what do I have here? Let me just see if you can understand why the answer is what it is. This is yarad. It's a cal infinitive construct with preposition bet and with the pronoun 1CP. Okay? Can you see that in here? So you see the new ending. That's the 1CP. You see the preposition bet, right? So let's strip those away. What am I left with? I'm left with rid. Rid. Now, what am I seeing here? I'm seeing roots 2 and 3. Where's root 1? Yeah, this is an original one vav verb where root 1 has fallen into Sheol. And when I lose root 1, I get a bonus tav from heaven, right? And so it becomes reddit. But when I add the pronoun, my vowels change to a short I and a silent shiva. Rid. Okay? So the act of yarading, which means to go down, with a bet, in the act of going down. In whose act of going down? In our act of going down. And if the bet is temporal, it would be when we went down or go down. We don't have any time context here, so it could be present or future or past, okay? Look at number 4 real quickly here. And what we have is neida'ah. I've got 3 consonants here, followed by a comma's hey. Is it possible that those are my 3 root letters here? Neida'ah from nada. Well, it's always theoretically possible, right? But the question then would become, what would the vowel pointing be doing here? Why would I have a sere under root 1? Do I see a sere under root 1 in any of my stems? No, I don't, right? You look at your principal parts, you won't find this. So it may be that what I have instead is a root 1 that's missing, and maybe the noon is a prefix noon. Would that make sense? Well, I do have weak verbs where root 1 goes AWOL on us sometimes, right? That's possible. And if I'm really smart, okay, I'll know that the root 1 problems are root 1 noons, yods, and vavs, right? So far. If this is a 1 noon verb and the noon's not visible, what situation would I have? Well, the noon assimilates, right? So I would be looking for what in root 2 if the root 1 noon has assimilated? I'd be looking for a doubling dot. You might tell me, well, yeah, Dr. Marshall, but sometimes the Dagesh fortes go away. They do in squinum levi letters. Is dalet a squinum levi letter? No, it's not. So that's not a problem. So I can eliminate the noon as a possibility. Have I seen 1 yod or 1 vav verbs where I've got a noon prefix, which could be the 1CP prefix, right, with a sere under the nutty prefix? Have I seen that? Yeah, 1 vav verbs in which stem? In the cal. That's right. take a look at that principal parts, excuse me, the paradigm sheet, and just see what we've got here with the one vav verbs in the cal, imperfect. What do we have? Yashav becomes yeshav, teshav, teshav, teshavi, eshav, yeshavu, teshavna, teshavu, teshavna, and looky here, neshav. You see your noon prefix has a sere under it and no root 1 at all, right? I'm only seeing roots 2 and 3. Noon prefix for the imperfect, 1CP. That's not all I've got in my verb form. I have for the cohortative a comets hey on the back side. Now, in the paradigm, I'm only given the 1CS. What would the 1CP form look like? I would just put a noon here where the aleph is, and everything else would be the same. Ne shiva. Ne shiva. Go back to your homework. What do I have here? I have ne da'ah. I've got a noon prefix and a comma te on the back side. This is not just 1CP, but what? It's cohortative 1CP. That's right. And which stem was that we were just looking at for one vav? The cal stem, right? So this is the cal. So ne da'ah is an encouragement to us. Let's do something. So when I have my lexical form and the normal forms of the verb, will I have the yod or the vav as the root 1 letter? I'm going to have the yod. It's originally one vav, but the yod will show up. So my lexical form is yada, and it's a cal cohortative 1CP. So how would you translate this? Let us know. Let's know. Okay.